Peace everybody, back on another video. This is Fauci optimistic COVID-19 vaccine will be widely available. Yeah, I don't think so because Fauci is a fraud and he lied under perjury of oath. He's saying all this and that and that and all this and all that. Yeah, it was a clown show. That's what it was with Fauci. And of course, you could see him here with his alleged medical stuff that he claims he knows everything. Once a coronavirus vaccine is approved and is safe and effective, Americans should have widespread access within a reasonable time, Dr. Anthony Fauci assured lawmakers Friday. No, because the vaccines are not going to be ready. All right, there are no vaccines for the coronavirus. COVID-19, whatever you want to call it. There is no vaccines for that. It's all man-made. That's what these vaccines are. Man-made. Appearing before a House panel investigating the nation's response to the pandemic, Fauci expressed cautious optimism that a vaccine would be available, particularly by next year. Yeah, I don't think so, because that's not going to happen. He's been lying to you, setting you up, kidnapped this world to make sure nobody goes outside or do anything, blah, 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 this and that. No, I would not be taking no vaccines from Fauci. Between him and Bill Gates, they are the worst together. I believe ultimately over a period of time in 2021 that Americans will be able to get it, Fauci said, referring to the vaccine. Yeah, the only thing Fauci is good for is lying to people. That's all he's good for. He doesn't care about the American people either. He's anti-American, and as a matter of fact, he's not even American. And he's saying, oh, I believe ultimately over a period of time in 2021 that Americans will be able to get it. No, that's not going to happen. The only way you can get a virus, it has to be lethally injected into you. You can't catch the COVID-19 from a person of that. You have to voluntarily have it injected in you, the virus. There will be a priority list of who gets early vaccinations. I don't think we will have everybody getting it immediately, Fauci explained. Well, people do have a right to refuse it. If they don't want it, then they don't want it. But Fauci cannot sit up here and force people to get the vaccines, because that's illegal. And then, of course, he's saying there will be a priority list of who gets early vaccinations. Yeah, what list? It better be the demons that are holding this country hostage, because they'll be the first ones to get it. But ultimately, within a reasonable time, the plans allow for any American who needs the vaccine to get it, he added. No, because there is no way that somebody could be forced into a vaccine whatsoever. And within a reasonable time. What reasonable time? There is no reasonable time. The plans allow for any American who needs the vaccine to get it. No, not really. Under direction from the White House, federal health authorities are carrying out a plan dubbed Operation Warp Speed to manufacture 300 million doses of a vaccine on a compressed timeline. So 300 million doses of vaccine under dubbed Operation Warp Speed. Yeah, I don't think so because Fauci is not telling the truth. Twice he got caught without his mask. I know some people call it the diaper mask, so don't ask why that is, but it is. Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease official, said 250,000 people have expressed interest in taking part in studies for experimental vaccines for the coronavirus. So Fauci is trying to get away with this. Fauci has not seen a patient in over 20 years. That's how long it's been. He has never seen a patient in over 20 years. And yet here he's taking this thing way too far, saying, oh, well, every American is going to get the vaccine. No, we're not. Because not everybody's going to want it. People have a right to opt out. He said that 250,000 people have registered on a government website to take part in vaccine trials, which are pivotal for establishing safety and effectiveness. Not all patients who volunteer to take part in clinical trials are eligible to participate. I wouldn't even participate in one single thing that Fauci is giving out. He's a scammer. That's what he is. He scammed you, and you fell for his dumbest tricks in the book. And now he wants you to wear goggles with your mask? Excuse me? Do as I say, not as I do? Type of deal? That's who Fauci is. And you people are falling for it? Fauci was joined by Centers for Disease Control and Prevention head Dr. Robert Redfield and Health and Human Services testing Cesar Adam Brett Gior. So Fauci was joined by Centers for Disease Control and Prevention head of, which is Dr. Robert Redfield. Well, Dr. Robert Redfield can go too. He can get himself going to Gitmo too. Pack your bags and go. Goodbye. And then, of course, and the Human and Health Services testing Czar Edmund Brett Gior. So all of them can go to Gitmo. Pack your bags and go. Gior acknowledged that currently it's not possible for the U.S. to return all coronavirus test results to patients in 2 to 3 days. He blamed overwhelming demand across the nation. So now they're demanding across the nation that they get this done. Well, for me, I have no choice because I got to get a breathing test done, and I'm stuck taking a stupid test when they call me for a breathing test. Now, most of these tests will come back as false positive. That's what will happen. And of course, he blamed overwhelming demand across the nation. And this is what Georg acknowledged that currently it's not possible for the U.S. to return all coronavirus test results to patients in 2 to 3 days. Many health experts say that COVID-19 results are almost worthless when delivered after 2 or 3 days because by then the window for contact tracing has closed. Excuse me, but the contact tracing does not involve the vaccines. The contact tracing involves money. That's what the contact tracing does. It involves money, not the vaccines. And these health experts, they don't know nothing. They're all a bunch of liars. They don't know what the heck is going on. They say, oh, well, this and that. No. The latest government data shows about 75% of testing results are coming back within 5 days, but the remainder are taking longer, George told lawmakers. Of course, well, obviously they're taking longer because they're all false positive. Most of them. You can't even get the real results without them making up some kind of, oh, well, you got the COVID-19. I'm sorry, you got to stay home for 14 days now. You can't go nowhere, this and that. Excuse me, but who died and left these people on bus? Rapid, widespread testing is critical to containing the coronavirus outbreak, but the U.S. effort has been plagued by supply shortages and backlogs since the earliest days of the outbreak. What earliest days of the outbreak? Because China lied and people died? Is that what the outbreak is all about? These radical lefts will do anything to keep you locked down in your house, and they don't care about you. These radical lefts are just already went right to socialism. They went right to communism, everything. That's what they did. They went straight to socialism. They didn't even care. At a time when early progress seems to have been lost and uncertainty clouds the nation's path forward, Fauci, Gore, and Redfield are calling on Americans to go back to public health basics such as social distancing and wearing masks. Excuse me, but no, that's not going to happen. Social distancing, that is socialism. That means you're not allowed to talk to nobody. And wearing masks, he could shove that up his butt. Fauci can. All three of these people can. Fauci, Gore, and Redfield, they could all pack their bags and go to Gitmo. You're wanted there. They want their $50 million from you. Go over there so you could be jailed for the rest of your life. The panel, the House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Crisis, is divided about how to reopen schools and businesses, mirroring divisions among Americans. Committee Chairman Rep. James Clyburn said the White House must come up with a comprehensive national plan to contain the virus. Ranking the Republican Steve Scalise of Louisiana said the Trump administration has plans already on vaccines, testing, nursing homes, and other coronavirus-related issues. So the panel, the House Select Subcommittee of the coronavirus is divided about how to reopen schools and businesses. Well, you know what? The kids do need to go back to school. Because the more they're out of school, the more these parents are going to abuse them. Child abuse is up ever since this crap started. Kids are out of control and the parents cannot control them because they don't care. These parents are out here that are abusing their children. They're out here partying every day, don't give a crap what happens to their children. They say, yeah, okay, we'll just let them. And then you got kids out here protesting? Seriously? When parents go out to protest, leave your kids at home with a babysitter or with a family member. Don't take them to a protest. They don't need to be in the middle of this. And then you got ranking Republican Steve Scalise of Louisiana said the Trump administration has plans already on vaccines, testing, nursing homes, and other coronavirus-related issues. And of course, we know what happened in New York City when Governor Cuomo had put the elderly in nursing homes. They died because of him. They died because of Andrew Cuomo. And he doesn't even care about the elderly. They're saying, oh, well, no, of course, he put them in nursing homes. A rebound of cases across the South and the West has dashed hopes for a quick return to normal life. Problems with the available and timeliness of testing continue to be reported, and the race for a vaccine, though progressing rapidly, has yet to deliver a breakthrough. So now you got a rebound of cases across the South and the West has dashed hopes for a quick return to normal life. What normal life? All these Democratic mayors and governors have destroyed everything. They turned you into their puppets. Oh, you got to do this. Do as I say, not as I do. You got to do this. You got to do that. Excuse you? And of course, and the race for a vaccine, though progressing rapidly, has yet to deliver a breakthrough. What breakthrough? There is no vaccines for COVID-19. There is none. There never was. The only way you can get the virus, it has to be injected in you. That's the only way you're going to get a virus. And what these clowns are telling you is all misinformation. And that you're believing all these clowns? They are doing this for political use because it's election year. They are blaming everything on Trump when it's the radical left who is causing all the chaos, destruction, burning of federal buildings, having BLM because Lucifer manipulates, Antifa and all these other people that are doing all of this mess. And yet they're blaming Trump for everything that he has nothing to do with. The rioters and that, the radical left is saying, oh, it's just a peaceful protest. Yeah, right. When they're destroying federal buildings, I wonder why Trump sends in the federal marshals to go after these criminals that are setting federal buildings on fire and everything. Fauci's public message in recent days has been that Americans can't afford a devil-may-care attitude towards COVID-19 and need to double down on basic measures such as wearing masks in public, keeping their distance from others, and avoiding crowds and indoor spaces such as bars. That's echoed by Redfield and Gior, though they are far less prominent. Of course they're far less prominent because they're evil. Fauci is evil too. He's not even human. He's a freaking reptilian. And he supports the pedophilia, Fauci does. He supports it. And they're okay with it. Seriously, stop giving these Democrats your time that they don't need. Because this is a clown show with the mask and the vaccines and everything. It's a clown show. They're using it as political. That's what they're doing. And you're believing all the lies that they're telling you. Fauci dogged persistence has drawn the ire of some of President Donald Trump's supporters and prompted a new round of calls for his firing. But the veteran of battles against AIDS and Ebola has stuck to his message while carefully avoiding open confrontations with the Trump White House. And of course you're going to blame Trump for it. He has nothing to do with this. Of course, Fauci's dogged persistence has drawn the ire of some of President Donald Trump's supporters and prompted a new round of calls for his firing. Excuse me, but Fauci needs to be fired. He does not need to be anywhere near anybody. He has never seen a patient in over 20 years, and this is why they're using all this as political. In an interview with the Associated Press earlier this week, Fauci said he was disturbed by the flat-out opposition in parts of the country to wearing masks as a public health protective measure. Well, Fauci is a flip-flopper. He's saying you have to wear masks. Then he says you don't need to wear masks. Now he's saying you have to wear masks. Then he adds on, oh, you have to wear goggles with your mask. He flip-flops. He doesn't know what he wants, what he's saying. He don't know what he's saying. He can't even make up his mind. That's why he got caught at a Yankees baseball game without his mask, because he had it literally on his chin. So what does that tell you? He's a fraud. There are certain fundamentals, he said. The staples of what you need to do. One is universal wearing of mask. Well, if you go listen to the real doctors, they will tell you that the masks don't do anything. All the virus is just tiny droplets. The mask is not gonna stop that from coming through. A mask doesn't do anything. But yeah, here people are saying, oh, well, this is going to stop the COVID-19, blah, blah, blah. No. Because if you do your research on the virus, it's nothing but a tiny droplet. That's all it is. Public health experts say masks help prevent an infected person who has yet to develop symptoms from passing the virus to others. For mask wearers, there is also some evidence that they can offer a degree of protection from an infected person nearby. And when there's no proof of it anywhere, there is no proof that a virus could spread from one person to the next. Animals have it, yes. Yes, the animals do have the COVID-19, yes, but they are protected by their immune system. Just like us humans, we're protected by our immune system, and yet and Fauci wants to throw all this crap in the middle of everything. And of course, you got public health experts saying masks help prevent an infected person who has yet to develop symptoms from passing the virus to others. Well, if a person is not sick, it ain't gonna do nothing. If the person don't have symptoms, then it's not going to do anything. So what's the use of having a mask if it's not going to help you any? For mask wearers, there's also some evidence that they can offer a degree of protection from an infected person nearby. Well, that all depends on who it is. If you got this 6 feet social distancing, now that is socialism. That means you can't talk to nobody. What's the use of having a mask? Fauci said in his AP interview that he's concerned because the U.S. has not followed the track of Asian and European nations also hit hard by the coronavirus. Oh, now Fauci's concerned all of a sudden? Since when did Fauci become concerned? He's nothing but a fraud and a liar. And now all of a sudden he's concerned? No, he's not concerned because he don't give a crap. Other countries that shut down their economics knocked back uncontrolled spread is settled into a pattern of relatively few new cases, although they continue to experience local outbreaks. What outbreaks if there is none? What outbreaks? If there's no local outbreaks, then why is it all of a sudden that he's so concerned about all these problems that people are having all of a sudden? Other countries that shut down their economics knocked back uncontrolled spread is settled into a pattern of relatively few new cases. What new cases? There are no new cases. There never was in the first place. All this is being used for political agenda. That's all it is. The U.S. also knocked back the initial spread, but it never got the background level of new cases quite as low, and the reassurance of COVID-19 in the Sun Belt in recent weeks has driven the number of new daily cases back up to 60,000 to 70,000 range. It coincided with economic reopening and a return to social gatherings, particularly among younger adults. Growing numbers of emergency room visits, hospitalizations, and death have followed as grim consequences. All right, growing numbers of emergency room visits? No, because the hospitals are empty, literally. There's hardly nobody there except for doctor's appointments, and that's it. But emergency room visits? No. Hospitalizations and death have followed as grim consequences. What consequences? What is there if there isn't any? Go to your local hospital and see how empty it is. They say, oh, it's overcrowded, it's this and that. That is not overcrowded. I was just at the hospital the other day, and there was nobody there hardly, except for people with their doctor's appointments. That's it. But other than that, they're saying, oh, the hospitals are overcrowded, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. It's all lies they're giving you. Nearly 4.5 million Americans have been infected since the start of the pandemic, and more than 150,000 have died, according to figures compiled by Johns Hopkins University. Oh, come on. 150,000 people died. Can we get a little real, please? And nearly 4.5 million Americans have been infected since the start of the pandemic. Excuse me, but since when did a common flu become the COVID-19 all of a sudden? Because that's what Dr. Fauci did. He stole the patent of the common flu and turned it into COVID-19. And that's when he kidnapped the entire world. He stole the patent of it. Dr. Fauci is not to be trusted ever. Fauci said there's evidence the surge across the South may be peaking, but upticks in the Midwest are now a concern. Oh, now it's a concern for him, huh? Now all of a sudden it's a concern for him with the Midwest are now a concern. And Fauci says that there is evidence the surge across the South may be peaking. Peaking of what? They've really got to jump all over that, because if they don't, then you might see the surge we saw in some of the southern states, he told the Associated Press. Well, of course, the Associated Press are a bunch of misinformation too, because that's part of the radical left's problem as well. They control the narrative. They only want to tell you what you want to hear. Oh, well, that, blah, blah. Nah, shut up, the radical left. The radical left controls the liberal media. They only want you to hear what fits their agenda. They don't want to hear the truth. Though Fauci gets pushback from White House officials, other medical experts in the administration are on the same page when it comes to the public health message. Well, we know Trump is the biggest troll of all because, he can't stand the Democrats. So that's why he's trolling them. Hey, I'm only knowing what I know. The radical left are all a bunch of liars. They got their agenda. They only want you to hear what they tell you. They're not going to tell you the truth. They never did. These radical lefts are evil and demented and satanic. They're only going to tell you what you want to hear, and then you're going to think, wait, what? Is this true or not? Well, you need to think for yourself and stop letting these people think for you. The radical left is evil. Why do you think they kidnapped this country for 100 years? They took everything. And now it's up to you patriots to take this country back from them. Stop allowing these people to take everything from you. The testing says, are told reporters Thursday. I think it's very important to make sure that we all spread the public health message that we can't control all the outbreaks occurring right now. Also, now you want to control all the outbreaks? No, because you're only going to make it more worse by lying. That's all it's going to do, make it more worse than lying. The numbers don't make sense at all. They keep inflating the numbers. That's what they're doing. They're inflating the numbers. They're forcing more numbers up. They say, oh, well, we believe. No. They're killing the numbers by adding it up more. And this is why they're inflating the numbers. They're not deflating it. They're inflating it more. To make you feel scared. Oh, well, you got to do as they tell you. Stop being a puppet for these radical left. He said controlling the outbreaks will require people to wear masks, avoid crowded indoor spaces, and wash their hands frequently. Well, excuse me, people have a right to be wherever they want to be. Who is he to tell people what to do, saying, oh, you got to avoid crowded indoor spaces? Who is he? He's nobody. Fauci and the rest of the radical left are easy. Or evil, I should say. I'm sorry. They do not care about you. They're anti-American. This country was built on a sovereign nation to have freedom. And yet here the radical left, they don't want you to have freedom. Because this is a sovereign nation of Christians. And they hate that. That's what this country was built on. The sovereign nation of Christians. And here you're going to believe what the radical left is telling you? No. They're already forcing you to wear a mask. And now Fauci's saying, yo, you got to wear goggles with your mask? Really? Who gave him his marching orders? Oh yeah, that's right, the radical left did. His slave masters told him, oh, tell the people they got to wear goggles. That's why Fauci is a clown show. That's all he is a clown. He's got to take his orders from the radical left who don't care about American people. Stop listening to these people and start doing your own thing. Leave your comments below. I am out.